Hey y'all, welcome back. This will be episode 3 of Following the Garden in 2018. I'm up here on my front porch because it's quite windy outside and I do not have fancy schmancy camera equipment. So I want you to be able to hear me before I go down there and show you what we're going to do. Last year I had done a good amount of research on viruses on plants because I already knew what to do about the bugs and the fungi, but viruses are a whole different story. You cannot cure a virus. Once they get that, you need to yank it out, put it in a trash bag, dispose of it, keep it away from your other plants. Viruses are carried in by insects. So, even though you're spraying for bugs, you still have to worry about that. What I found in my research was that other than planting resistant varieties, the best advice out there was to use a reflective mulch. Now, they sell one called Brighten Up, something like that. But it's expensive and honestly, it just looks like aluminum foil. So from there, I started researching about, can I use aluminum foil? Sure enough, there were a ton of articles. There were also many tests done by universities and such showing that the results were good. So last year, on top of mulch or just on top of my buckets where I didn't even have mulch, I used aluminum foil. I'm going to show you how to apply that on the tomatoes down below here in just a second. Now we're going to get questions because I got them last year. Lots of folks telling me, oh no, don't use aluminum foil. It'll heat up and the aluminum will leach into your bucket. Well, it doesn't do that. It's not an oven. It reflects the light. It doesn't absorb the light. The foil stays cool. And another benefit about using the foil, because it reflects the light, is that it's adding more light to the underneath sides of your plants. I had 0 viruses last year, and that is the first year that has ever happened. Was it because of the foil? Was it because luck? I don't know. But guess what? I'm going to go add full to my buckets. So if you'll come on down there with me, I'll show you how I do it. Okay, well, it ain't rocket science. Basically, all I do is cut my foil to the middle. To the middle for a single plant. If I have more than one plant planted, and of course I just cut from the side in. Like on my bean plants, I will cut a small strip and 2 little indentations and slide it in this way and this way on the beans. Now I don't bother with staking them down with any sort of clips or anything. What I found last year was that they did just fine. They didn't fly out of the bucket. Don't really know why they didn't fly out of the bucket, but they didn't. Interesting. Oh, did you see that just then? That's how you weed in the RGGS. Well, it certainly isn't the prettiest looking thing in the world, but in this case, I ain't after pretty. I'm after food. One thing I forgot to mention earlier with this foil, with using the reflective mulch, right now, you can see with the sun out, it's just reflecting like crazy. But once these plants get bigger and their leaves start to cover it more, the reflectability is going to diminish. However, I still leave the foil on for the whole season. Another question I got last year about using the foil was, well, doesn't it keep the rain from getting into the bucket? Don't you need the rain? Well, this is container growing, rain gutter grow system. The buckets are on a gutter. It is a self-watering system, so honestly, I really don't need or desire the rain to be in my buckets. It certainly doesn't prevent all the rain from getting in. I'm sure it does some, but we get so much rain here, it's a good thing if it doesn't all get in. Some of you already know, if you're on Larry's Facebook page or my own Facebook page, that I planted these tomatoes last Saturday. Today is Wednesday. Now I knew we were going to have rain the next day, a rain event on Sunday and some more rain on Monday. But I did not know, however, that the forecast was going to change to include tornado watch, and then we had high wind warnings. These poor tomatoes were wind whipped and waterlogged. It was my fault. I should have waited until Monday or Tuesday to plant them, but hey, I was trying to get them out. I was running out of room. So now I have the issue to deal with. How am I going to get these tomatoes to thrive and grow? They actually look a whole lot better today than they did yesterday, and certainly the days before that. But I just wanted to show you. This was one of my tomato plants that did not get planted out here because I shortchanged myself by a bucket. So it was in the greenhouse protected, and it's still green, unlike these that are yellowing. Just looking at the difference, it's just pretty unbelievable. Very unbelievable difference. So, I love my tomatoes. I worked hard to raise them. Well, grow them. I guess I didn't really raise them. So I've got to give them some juice. Thanks to a friend of mine who's a fantastic gardener, Penny Borden. She turned me on to a guy named, I think his first name's Howard. Garrett. I think it's Garrett. Anyway, he's from Texas. He's pretty well known, and he is called the Dirt Doctor. He has a book, he has a website, he has a YouTube channel, he has tons and tons and tons of information. He grows organically. So between what I know about using organics and what he has suggested, I'm going to shoot these babies today, giving them a foliar spray. It's called Garrett juice, or Jarrett juice, however you say his last name. So let's go up top. I'll show you how to mix it, and then we'll come back and give these puppies a spraying. I apologize for the tight space here, but my little greenhouse is where I brew my compost tea. What I have here is an air pump. I hang it because it makes a lot of shaky noise and it works well that way. I have 2 air stones attached in the bottom of this 5-gallon bucket of water. Now, if you come over with me to the table, I'll show you how I mix what's in it and how I add it to the pail. These are the products I like to use. They are made by boogiebrew.com. I know you can brew your own compost tea, but I prefer to use these products. I've had great success with them. I'll even throw up a picture to show you the difference just on some flowers. Okay, it's a 2-parter. Part A is the Boogie Base. In the Boogie Base, it's just a blend of what they call non-plant food ingredients. What's in here are worm castings, composted wood chips, biochar, trace ocean minerals, volcanic ash, and fossilized kelp. I don't know why they say non-plant food, because some of that is plant food. But part B is the Boost. This is the good stuff. It's got soluble kelp powder, soybean hydrolysate, nutritional yeast, kelp meal, soybean meal, humates, evaporated cane juice, soluble humic acid with potash, alfalfa meal, rock phosphate, langibonite, and green sand. They used to sell this all together, but they learned that created a shelf life because your microorganisms are in the boost and they're going to eat and feed on this. So now they keep it separated and you have a longer shelf life. It comes with a little bag, and in the bag I have a half a cup of part A and part B. So now let's go attach it to the pail. I simply just use the pail handle and I loop the bag through itself, preferably without all of it falling out. And then put her down in there. Normally you want to let it brew between 18 and 24 hours. It's time to mix up some cocktail for my tomatoes. I have 1 cup of compost tea. That is going to create the biological activity. To that, I am going to add apple cider vinegar. You need to make sure it's apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to add 1 ounce. The apple cider vinegar is actually going to add trace minerals. That'll be good for the plant. Next is seaweed. This is actually fish and seaweed. Neptune's. I like this brand. And actually it was one that Penny Borden recommended to me. It's hydrolyzed fish and seaweed fertilizer. So 1 ounce of that. Seaweed has nutrients and it also has growth stimulating capabilities. And then the last part of the concoction is 1 ounce of molasses. This is going to, well, as you know, it's sugar. And this is going to stimulate the biological activity in the mix. Now we're just going to add this to a gallon of water and we're ready to spray. When we're spraying, we want to be sure we get the underneath sides of the leaves also. I have mixed up a gallon, but probably won't take a gallon at all for these tomatoes. So I will use it up spraying other things. It's great for everything. Anytime you're spraying a foliar feed, you want to do it in the morning when the stomata is still open and the temperatures are cooler. That way the plants are going to take up the nutrients more efficiently. And this also helps them take up the nutrients from the soil more efficiently. Because this doesn't have any oil in it, I don't need to worry about burning the leaves, burning the plant like you do when you spray neem, or if you put orange oil concentrate or something in this. You would want to do it in the evening after the sun has gone down, so that you don't burn anything. Unfortunately, we are expecting rain again tomorrow. 80% chance from noon to 6 in the afternoon. So it's a good thing I'm probably doing this right now. And I will probably need to do it again in a couple of weeks. We'll just see how they fare. Some of you may have noticed in the description under my videos, there is now something called a kit. Well, if you click on that link, it will take you to my favorite products that I like to use. I'm creating different kits because I'm getting questions all the time on the different items, the different products, and it's easy to share the kit that way. I have one kit up right now which is dealing with addressing the bugs and the fungal yucky stuff issues. But I'm going to be adding a second kit for the organic fertilizers that we use and things like this foliar feed. So remember, bye. Until next time, have a good one. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh my. There was even an article about trying to, Charlie Brown, I'm going to jerk a knot in your tail, straighten up and fly right. Oh my stars in heaven, would y'all calm down? I'm up here on my front porch because it's quite windy out. Mojo, don't knock the camera over, dogs. That camera's going down. Ah! Jeepers. Stop. Y'all, stop fighting. Charlie Brown. Ew. You're sopping wet. Go away, dogs. This is like tape number 5,000. Oh, dang it.